Hey guys, how's it going today? What we're going to be working on is we're still working in systems, but what you might notice about our system here is that we actually have three variables. So we actually have three variables, three equations, and so we have A, B, C, B, C, A, B, C in our third. And so always remember that you're going to have the same amount of equations as you have variables. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to actually, every time we do this, we're going to use a combination of elimination and substitution. You can solve it every which way, but what I'm going to start off doing, just to make it easy, is I'm going to label the equations that I have. So I have my first equation, my second, and my third equation. I'm going to grab my first and my second equation, and I'm going to write out A plus B plus C equals -3. And I'm going to grab my second equation, which is 3B minus C equals 4. Now the reason I'm grabbing these is because I want to reduce the amount of variables I have. So if I use elimination here, the C's are going to eliminate. So the A is going to come down, then B plus 3B gives me 4B, then -3 plus 4 gives me 1. So I have that done, but I'm also going to grab my second and my third equation here. So 2 and 3, I'm going to have 3b minus c equals 4, and then 2a minus b minus 2c equals -5. Now if you're thinking, okay, yeah, I can multiply the second one by 3 and eliminate the b's, you could, but that won't be really helpful because you're going to be left with the B here and then the C's here. You really need to focus on eliminating the same variable each. So we eliminated C here, so we need to eliminate C here. We're going to multiply this one by a -2. So I'm going to have -6B plus 2C equals -8. Going to get that together, and I'm going to have the 2A coming down. Let me see, 2A. What is this? B minus 6B. Did I grab the right one? Yeah. All right. Sorry. I am catching up to my thoughts now. B negative B minus is going to give us -7B minus 7B, and then the C's cancel out. We're going to get -13. So 2A minus 7B is going to be -13. So we canceled out everything there. And now I'm just going to bring what I have here, and I'm going to bring this down to join it. So A plus 4B equals 1. Now I'm going to use elimination here. Well, if I look, I can eliminate this one by multiplying by -2. I can eliminate the A's. So I have -2A minus 8B equals -2. So my A's cancel out. -7 minus 8 is -15B. And then -13 minus 2 is -15. Divide by -15. Divide by -15. That is 1, so I'm left with B equals 1. -15 over -15 is 1. So we have our B. So since we know what B is, let's go back into our system that we're working with. So right here, we're coming back exactly to, let me mark it. We're coming back to this point. I'm going to put B into one of these. So just because I don't feel like working with the negative, and we're solving for A, I'm going to have A plus 4, and we know what B is. B is 1. All right, equals 1. So A plus 4 equals 1 minus 4 on both sides. A equals -3. So we know what A is. So now we know what B, we know A. So now we just need to find C. So, you can plug it into any equation, any which way. So I'm just going to plug it into equation number 1, and I'm going to have A plus B plus C equals -3. We know A is -3. We know B is 1. So we're looking for C. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. And then we're going to add 2 to both sides. And we're going to get C equals negative 1. So always go back and check your answer. I'm just going to write down my ordered triple. So negative 3, comma 1, comma negative 1. And we always want to go back to our original problem and check that we got it right. So we're going to put a negative 3 here. We're going to put a 1 here and a negative 1 here. So negative 3 plus 1, that gives me negative 2. Negative 2 minus 1, that gives me negative 3, so it works there. Alright, so B is 1 here. And then C is negative 1, so this changes it into plus 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. That one works too. 2 times A, that's going to give us negative 6. And then a negative B is going to be minus 1. And negative 2C is going to be plus 2. So negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7. Negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. Perfect. So notice how we use a combination of elimination. And actually, we only used elimination here. But in some cases, you're going to notice that substitution works well in that case. So let's go ahead and move to our next one. 5r minus 4s minus 3t equals 3. T equals s plus r. R equals 3s plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and label which ones I have. 1, 2, and 3. And what I want to do is I want to substitute the second one into the first one. So I'm going to put s plus r into that t. So I'm going to grab 5r minus 4s minus 3, but s plus t. That's going to equal 3. And I want to simplify this. So 5r minus 4s minus 3s plus 3, sorry, not plus 3, s minus 3t equals 3. Simplify a little bit more. That's an R. I couldn't read my own handwriting. R equals 3. I was like, something's not right. I have the same variable twice, and we're trying to get rid of stuff. All right, so minus 3r equals 3. So 5r minus 3r, that gets us 2r. 4 minus 3s is going to be negative 7s, and that's still equal to 3. So that one's down to 2 variables now. So 2r minus 7s equals 3. Now we're going to substitute our third one into what we have here. So it's just going to keep on substituting. So I know what r is. R is going to be 3s plus 1. So 2 times 3s plus 1 minus 7s equals 3. So I substitute it in place of r here. And then now we only have the s. So now we're just going to go in and solve for s. So 6s, we're distributing 6s plus 2 minus 7s equals 3. So 6 minus 7 is negative 1. Oh, sorry. Negative s plus 2 equals 3. We're going to add s and add s, so we get 2 equals s plus 3. Now we're going to subtract 3. Subtract 3. We're going to get negative 1 equal to s. So now I have negative 1 equal to s. So now that we know what s is, we can go back here to 3. And we're going to say r equals 3s plus 1. Well, we know what s is. S is negative 1. So r equals 3 times negative 1 plus 1. R equals negative 3 plus 1. So r equals negative 2. Really quick with these once you get the hang of it. And now we know what r and s is. Let's go ahead and find t, because we know that t is going to be equal to, this is in our second one right here, t is going to be equal to s plus r. So t equals s, which is -1, plus a -2. So -1 minus 2. And so t equals -3. And again, we're going to write this as an ordered triple: -2, -1, and -3. R, S, T. Alphabetical order. And now I just want to go back quickly and check. So in our first one, we have 5R minus 4S minus 3T equals 3. And we're going to put in our numbers. So 5 times -2 minus 4 times -1 minus 3 times -3. Does that equal 3? Question mark. Well, let's see. -10 plus 4 plus 9. Does that equal 3? Question mark. Well, -10 plus 4, that gives us -6, and then plus 9, that gets us 3. That one works. Let's check our second one. T equals S plus, let's see, plus R. So T, let's see, T is going to be -3 equals -1 minus 2. Well, -1 minus 2 is -3, so that works. And now our last one, our third one, says R equals 3S plus 1. So we have -2 equals 3, -2 equals 3 times -1 plus 1. So -2 equals -3 plus 1. Well, -2 equals, and -3 plus 1 is -2. Perfect. All three of our answers worked. They check out in each of these three equations, and now we're good to go. Go ahead, read this one. It says, in triangle PQR, the measure of angle Q is 3 times that of angle P. The measure of angle R is 20 degrees more than that of angle P. We're trying to find the measure of each angle. So find the measure of each angle right there. So the way I did this was, I was like, okay, I'm just going to draw a quick sketch of a triangle. So P, Q, R. And I know that these are going to make up 180 degrees. This is something that you should remember from geometry, actually from way before geometry, but make sure you know triangles all have 180 degrees. So the way I'm reading this, I'm trying to think of a system. So my first equation that I can find is, I know that each of these three should equal 180. So P plus Q plus R, we know that's going to be 180 degrees. So that's going to be our first one. Now my second one, it tells me Q is 3 times that of angle P. So Q is 3 times P. And now our third one, it says the measure of angle R is 20 more than that of angle P. So we're going to be using that now. So R is 20 more than angle P. So 20 plus P. And so this is what makes up our system. So here in our first step, I'm just going to grab, let me see, P plus Q plus R equals 180. We're going to hold on to that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in, because right here I know that Q is 3P. So I'm going to plug it in. P plus, well, not Q now. It's going to say 3P. And I also know R. R is 20 plus P. So plus 20 plus P equals 180. Well, now if I'm looking all the way across, I see 1P, 1P, 1P. All I have is P. So I'm just going to combine my like terms. So 1, 4, 5, so 5P plus 20 equals 180. Subtract 20, subtract 20. We get 5P equals 180 minus 20 is 160. we divide by 5, divide by 5. So P is going to be equal to 32 degrees. So now that we have P, we can look and we can see simply that my Q only needs to use P and my R only needs to use P. So in my effort to find these, all I need to do is figure out what P is down here and just plug it in now. So here in Q, it says it's equal to 3P. So we're just going to plug in P here. Q equals 3 times P, and P is 32. So Q should equal 3 times 32, which gives us 96 degrees. And now for our last one, R equals 20 plus P. We know what P is. P is 32 degrees. So 20 plus 32. So R is going to be 52 degrees. So we have angle P, we have angle Q, and we have angle R. We just need to go back now and check. So in our first one, let's see if it satisfies that condition of 180 degrees. So we have 32, well, let me just write out P plus Q plus R equals 180. So now I have 32 plus 96 plus 52 equal 180. Is that true? Well, you could just type this into your calculator and you're going to get 180. So it fits there. So that was number 1. Let's check number 2. Q, which is 96. Got to write show all work. Showing all work, Mr. Hernandez. You're doing pretty bad showing all your work on this Friday. Equals 3P. So Q, we know, is 96. And it's equal to 3 times 32. Well, it should be. Let's check it. Well, 3 times 32, type that in, you get 96. So it works out there. And lastly, our third one, R equals 20 plus P. Let's check that one out. We're going to have 52. Is that equal to 20 plus 32? Well, we can type that one in and we're going to get 52. So yeah, it checks out too. So we know the measurements of all 3 of our angles with this just little tidbit of information. All right, go ahead, pause the video here and, well, not right here. Pause the video here and go ahead, try this problem on your own. Look at solving for X, Y, and Z. And, if you're feeling frisky, go ahead, try this problem. If you still need to get walked through it, or you just want to check your work, which is what you really should be doing, is checking your work at this point, is, go ahead and continue watching. But I'm going to start by putting in my first, my second, and my third equation. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my second equation. I'm going to have negative x plus y minus 2z equals negative 2. And I'm going to plug in my first one into the y because I'm saying I know what y is. So negative x plus negative 2x plus 10 minus 2z equals negative 2. And now I have, I want to combine my like terms. So negative 3x plus 10 minus 2z equals negative 2. I'm going to bring this 10 to join over here by subtracting 10 on both sides. So that cancels out. So negative 3x minus 2z equals negative 12. And I'm going to do a very similar thing in my third equation. So that starts out 3x minus 2y plus 4z equals 7. And I'm going to stick the y into this y again. So 3x minus 2 times a negative 2x plus 10 plus 4z equals 7. And go ahead and distribute. So 3x plus 4x minus 20 plus 4z equals 7. Combine my terms, so 7x plus 4z minus 20 equals 7. and add 20 to both sides. Gone. So 7x plus 4z equals 27. So if you're looking here between these two, all I have are x's and z's, and they're equal to something. So I'm going to write them like a regular system. So negative 3x minus 2z equals negative 12, and then 7x plus 4z equals 27. And I'm going to go ahead and solve. You could use substitution, you can use elimination. It looks like elimination is going to work nicely here by multiplying this one by 2. So negative 6x minus 4z equals negative 24. So 7x minus 6x, that's x. The z's cancel out. 27 minus 24 is 3. So we know x is 3. Now that I know x is 3, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in here. So negative 3 times 3 minus 2z equals negative 12. So I'm plugging it in right here for that one. So we get negative 9 minus 2z equals negative 12. Add 9 to both sides. So we get negative 2z equals negative 12 plus 9. What does that get us? That gets us negative 3. And then we're going to divide this by negative 2. So it cancels out, and we're going to get z equals positive 3 over 2. The negatives cancel out. So now we know what z is. Go back all the way to the beginning. And let's go ahead and find our last one that we're looking for, which is y. So it says y equals negative 2x plus 10. Okay, so we know y equals negative 2 and x is 3 plus 10. So y equals negative 6 plus 10. So y equals 4. So we have x is 3, y is 4, and z is 3/2. Let's just go back and check my answers. So y is 4. This is our first one. So y is 4 equals negative 2 times 3 plus 10. So 4 equals negative 6 plus 10. Yes, that works. In our second one, negative 3 plus y is 4, so plus 4. And then minus 2z, so minus 2 times 3 over 2. Does that equal negative 2? Well, those cancel out, so I have negative 3 plus 4 minus 3. So negative 3 plus 4 is 1. 1 minus 3 equals negative 2, which checks out. Now our last one, and this is our absolute last problem. So, good job hanging in there today. So 3x is 3, and then minus 2, and then y is 4, and then plus 4, and z is 3/2. So that equals 7. Does it equal 7? Well, let's check it out. 9 minus 8 plus, so that equals 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 2 times 3 gets us 6 equals 7. So 9 minus 8 is 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. Yes, that one also works out. So all of those numbers worked out. We're good to go. Definitely, this takes a lot of practice. So go out there, look for more practice on the internet. If you need to go get more practice, you can ask me. But definitely keep practicing this. You definitely need these skills. It takes a lot of the guessing and checking out. Yes, you can guess and check all day and get the right answers, but this just takes all the guessing out, and it's a foolproof method, which is what I love. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. My name is Mr. Hernandez, and I'm always here to help.